Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that at the top of the chat or in the description below. You can chat with other traders, including myself, share ideas there. I share ideas there too. So if you are interested to join a community, check it out. And of course, you can learn a little bit more about elevating traders there as well. But guys, we got another stream for you. Another day in the market. It's going to see what's happening. We do have, let me actually check the news calendar quickly. I know the main event I'm looking for is the yen interest rate on Friday, early hours of Friday morning. So that's the one I'm mainly focused on. But in terms of today, not much today, to be honest. Not much today. There's not much in terms of big events. Balance of trade for yen, that's at 11.50, but that's way into the evening. So yeah, today's pretty much a calm day, or at least it should be on paper, according to news. Tomorrow it does liven up a little bit with some CAD news, USD news, and some Aussie news in the evening, JPY inflation rate. Then of course Friday morning got the JPY Bank of Japan interest rate decision, PMI for euro, PMI for pound, and some USD news in the afternoon as well. So yeah, today should be pretty straightforward, at least in terms of news. So shouldn't see anything too crazy, but the markets will of course surprise you. What's up, people? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Forex Sniper, yes, we'll go through pound USD. Do not worry. Nenad, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Mo, what is up? Good morning. Good morning. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Tashi, good morning. Welcome to the stream. So first things first, we'll go through the DXY, take a look at the USD majors, gold and silver. Of course, any particular requests you do have, let me know. And of course, if you want me to take a look at a certain time frame, drop it down in the chat, and of course, we'll take a look at that as well. But with the dollar, it looks like we've had a bit of a bearish 24 hours and bearish right now at the moment. Price is falling out the sky at the moment here. Yep, on the hourly chart. We're not looking too good. So it looks like that DXY retracement is underway. So I'm looking to see if we can turn around. I was talking about some shorts. Actually, let me go to the capital one. There we go. So I was talking about some shorts yesterday on the retest of this consolidation. More or less missed the area, but the market did form that lower high before melting to the downside because we had such a strong drop. Not yesterday, the day before evening, really impulsive move. And this was a very fairly corrective move on the way up. So naturally, when you do see an impulse move followed by a very slow corrective move, most of the time you do see a continuation in the direction of that impulsive move. And we have seen that. And now we're seeing some follow through as prices taking up the lows. So this is still a bullish area for me, retesting that prior high coming into the 50 of the fib. If price can hold this, I do think this is a great place for a buy. You can see how many times price has rejected this level. Over there, over there, over there. So it has been a really steady level of support for the dollar. Should we break through? I'm not necessarily bearish on USD, but it might mean we have a bigger pullback to this area before pushing to the upside. And if you start breaking through that, we'll be back underneath this high here. And that's where things get a little bit awkward, because if the DXY does that, then that would lose my bullish bias for the dollar. And at that point, I'll be pretty bearish, looking at this as a big fake out and looking for a big swing to the downside. So if this momentum continues and we see price break below that 106,500 level, I will scrap the bullish bias completely and start talking about some sells. But at the moment in time, still in a bullish area. So I'm going to see how price does develop here. At the moment, yes, we're looking very bearish, but things can change very quickly. If we do see some heavy rejection here, wicks, bullish engulfing candles, this could be a great place to look for some buys to anticipate price to turn around. And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily a buy all the way back to the swing high. There are other areas you can look to target and walk away for decent profit. But at the end of the day, this is bullish territory. So I'm looking for the dollar to bounce, even though we are looking pretty bearish at the moment in time. Euro, of course, is doing the exact opposite, looking pretty bullish. Looks like we're coming back into this area. pretty much the corresponding level to the dollar. Again, if I whip out the fib from the high to the low, I'm pretty sure we've hit 0.618 by now. Or well, coming into the 0.618, but again, coming into that level of resistance. So both euro and both the dollar are in areas where we could turn around. So I'm looking to see what we can do in these areas here, because this could be an area where we catch a nice swing high back to the low, looking for the next lower high in the sequence. We had a low over there, second lower high, and again, potentially, well, we do have that low, but potentially another lower high for potentially a new low. So the plan is to try and anticipate that lower high forming, and this is the area I would anticipate that high to form. So if I don't see rejection here and price does start breaking through, like I said, I wouldn't be necessarily bullish on euro straight away. I do want to see euro to break back above this level of support before I start talking about some buys again, longer term that is. But if it does break through my area of confidence, then that would put me off the trade. I'm always looking to take trades in areas where we do have overlap and do have layers of confidence. If those layers of confidence don't hold, doesn't necessarily change my bias, but it might mean that I don't take a trade. So I need to see what price can do in this area. Same thing with the dollar, and potentially we could bounce from these areas. If not, then like I said, I will sit on my hands and see how price develops from there onwards. In terms of pound USD, same bias as usual, pretty much for the past few weeks, looking at more downside. This one has crept back into 1.235, which is this low here as well. So as I've been saying, there's two areas where I do like pound USD shorts. That's one of them. This is the second area. So if we don't hold that, I'll wait to see what we can do at that level at 1.25. But we're trading at this area for now. I like how price is moving, very impulsive move. And as you can see, a very corrective push to the upside as well. So giving us that characteristic of a pullback. So looking to see what we can do in this area. At the moment, the last 4-hour candle closed pretty bullish with a pretty big wick to the downside. So it looks like the market had a bit of a fake to the downside in the lower time frames, acting as if it was going to push the downside, but momentum completely reversed. And now we're looking pretty bullish there with a pretty strong close there on the 4-hour chart. So looking to see if that momentum can reverse, get some wicks to the upside, a nice bearish engulfing. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Stops above the high, and of course looking to target back at this low here as well. So from a risk reward point of view, if you can find a nice entry there in the 4-hour, even lower time frames, still be looking at a pretty healthy risk reward. And should price break through that, then the next level I'm looking at is the 1.25 area. Again, for me, this is the last major lower high of the market, which create this low. So if I do whip out the fib, pushing into that area does get us back into the 0.5, 0.618 region, which is just a healthy area to be in for a pullback. So if we do break through this area, which we're trading at now, it's not the end of the world. Still looking for a retest of that 1.25 level, more or less. So still pretty bearish on pound. Really nice leg to the downside. The plan is still look for the lower high, but we need to find this confirmation, of course, if you're going to find some entries. In terms of dollar CAD, I'm pretty sure they had a really aggressive sell. Yeah. So dollar CAD has just been all over the shop, really. Difficult to do much with this one unless you're kind of just buying the lows and selling the highs. In that case, you probably would have had a couple decent trades. And again, that's the best way to trade a ranging market. Buy low, sell high until price, of course, breaks out that range. Then, you're looking at a different market condition. But as you can see, massive resistance up there. Really intelligent support here. Prices bounced for a few times. We did it again yesterday. And then we rejected the high again yesterday. So the market was just all over the shop. And now we're coming back into support, which in theory, we could respect again and see another swing to the upside. So if you're looking for range play, this is the area which you want to find your entries, and up here as well. In actual fact, you want to try and find your entries close to the level of support as possible. That way you can maximize your risk reward should the trade be successful. But yeah, at the moment, USD has still ranging, so still waiting for price to break out of this. It looks like we tried to break out the high, but of course failed. If price breaks out the low, there could actually be some counter trend shorts. I'm still looking at buys overall with dollar CAD. I still do have targets back at this weekly level of resistance. So that's still what I'm looking for price to get to. But there is a world where we do have a really big pullback and potentially could push all the way back down here for a retest before continuing. So there is that possibility for a lot of downside, even if it is just retracement for price to retest the level and continue. There could still be a lot of downside as well. So if it's a good enough breakout, aka with enough momentum and enough distance, there could actually be some nice shorts to take advantage of on some retests, pullbacks, and look to ride that momentum down. I'll be looking for that high low, whether it forms at this area here or it forms at the big weekly level. That'll be up to dollar CAD, but I do think the bigger move is still to the upside, but there might be some nice shorts to take once we do break out of that level of support. But at the moment, still ranging, and for all we know, we could just turn around again. So if you are looking for range play, not a bad idea here for dollar CAD. Still looking to buy a low, sell high until we get the breakout. Aussie dollar. Last time I checked, this one's looking a tad bullish. Yeah, pushing to the upside very, very slowly though. Again, because we have taken out those massive weekly levels of support. A few areas, one over there, second over here, and third over there as well. So we are due a pullback. The market's been bearish. We've seen how many bearish candles in a row, minus that bullish candle there. It's only right that we do see a bit of upside in terms of retracement. So I am looking at a pullback into this area here at least. We could go a lot further than this, but this for me is the first big level for Aussie dollar to face. We might push a lot higher, but I'll see what we can do there. And if things look good, I will be looking to take some shorts for Aussie dollar to take it back down again and hopefully ride that momentum. But yeah, at the moment, still very corrective. So I do think Aussie dollar is likely going to push to the upside here and at least come and tag that 0.64 area. In terms of New Zealand dollar, this one is same situation as well. Very, very corrective as we can see. And I am looking for price to push the upside here. This one hasn't quite taken out its weekly level. So we haven't quite taken out this low or this low yet, but we have taken out some prior lows over here, which again, I'm anticipating a bit of a pullback from. So again, for me, the bigger move is still likely to take out those lows there. That's still likely going to be the bigger move, but we could go for a retracement, which could last 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks potentially, which could be some nice buys on the way up before we do turn bearish again and see price continue to the downside. So still very bearish Aussie dollar longer term, but again, I do believe we are due a bit of a correction, which looks like we're starting to see the signs of that happening. So yeah, looking for price to push up, have that retracement, form a lower high somewhere, and then hopefully we can take it back down again. And the areas I'm looking to short from is this level of support and this area here. That's what I'm looking to anticipate price to turn around from, but I need to get there first. So I like NZ dollar. I probably prefer this one more than Aussie dollar. It's a bit cleaner, and the fact is we haven't taken out those lows yet, so we've still got a reason to head lower, whereas Aussie dollar's taken out a major low, so that could give it a bit more of a kick. But yeah, I do expect more downside for both of them longer term. In terms of gold and silver, gold last time I checked was looking very bullish. Yes, it is very, very bullish, breaking through the highs there. So in my book, it looks like gold is probably going to go and test the highs back at 27.88, 27.90, and probably put some new ones in as well. So yeah, gold looking very bullish. It's a confident breakout, healthy breakout. So I would favor some break and retest opportunities now with gold for a push back to the swing high, and probably further at that point as well. But this range here has been put to bed, and now the market is looking very, very bullish. So yeah, I would have to say I'm bullish on gold. Again, I'll be talking about the higher time frames, more so the weekly chart, saying there's just so much momentum to the upside here for gold. So even though the lower time frames have been quite choppy and a bit difficult to trade and read, the overall trend of the market has still been very, very bullish. So with that in mind, you're always kind of looking for that to continue at some point, and looks like that some point has arrived. So if we can see some pullbacks of that, that'll be great. Try and catch the next high low in the sequence. One over there, second, third, fourth, fifth. Looking for number 6 over there, retest that level, and there's probably a good chance we push right back to the high and probably a lot higher as well. So very, very bullish on gold there. And taking a look at silver, I'm expecting this to follow. This one's lagging behind big time because the highs that we previously created from last year is all the way back up here at 34.8, and we're nowhere near that area, and we still do have this high to contend with. So in terms of the buys are looking a little bit better. I did say I'll keep an eye for the retest of this level. Unfortunately, didn't quite see that happen, but it looks like we're about to take out these highs here. So if you do with some momentum, again, looking for the next pullback, hopefully we can get involved with that one. Still being a bit cautious with this high on the left, because as I said yesterday, this could still send us right back down again. But looking to try and find that next higher low for silver. And once we take out this high, then it should be pretty smooth sailing back to the high there, 34.8. And then again, just looking for those pullbacks where we can find them with, of course, good confirmations as well. But yeah, very, very bullish on gold and silver. I do expect silver to eventually catch up with gold. So this one could be one to keep an eye on. I know it's not looking as good as gold right now, but I do think it's going to pick up the pace pretty soon. And again, targets longer term is still a push back to the high over there. So yeah, very, very bullish on both of them. And maybe if DXY does sell off a little bit, maybe they both kind of rip to the upside, because despite dollar being strong the past kind of few weeks, so has gold and silver. So now that dollar might be a bit weak, maybe that just accelerates them both. But silver for me is one with the most opportunity, because gold, of course, is just right back at the all-time high right now. So yes, that looks like a really good trade. But there is a world where we just kind of keep flying and we don't have that pullback, which is kind of what I think might happen now, especially with dollar looking a little bit weak. Gold might just soar. If it does retrace, great. Could be a really nice trade to take, but gold might just fly off. But silver's got a lot of room to the upside. I mean, even the highs that I just mentioned here are not the all-time highs. If I zoom out to the weekly chart, all-time highs for silver still all the way up there. So there's still targets to hit for silver. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with those metals and the USD markets. Where was I? Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the stream. Hope you well. Was talking about 93, 94 level in GJ last week, and it seems like we headed on that direction. Okay, I'll take a look at that one as well. Mark Masters, yes, EuroCHF. We'll take a look, no problem. Dark Sean, good morning. Hope you well. Talking about 193. Okay, that's the same message last time. Yeah, I'll take a look at GJ for you. Euro blessing. We'll take a look, no problem. Will, good morning. Hope you well. And yes, San, we just went through gold. If there is a specific time frame you want me to look at for gold, let me know. First, I'll go through pound yen for Darker Sean. Let me jump to the 5. Okay, wait, let me go to the 4 hour first to see where that 93, 94.5. $94.5. Okay, so this area here, this zone, yeah, it does look like price is headed towards that area. It does look like price is headed towards that area now. I mean, the area which I said at the beginning of the week is the level I'm looking to short from is this area here, which is 194/194.5. That's really the area I'm looking to see if I can catch a lower high from. Again, you can see we had the equal highs up there. Lovely equal highs. Price broke to the downside. Lower low, lower high. Beautiful bearish leg, creating that lower low, and has left behind a really sturdy level of support. Should we see a retest of, I think there's a good chance price does react and sees some downside. So I would agree with that, Dark Sean. Looks like price is likely to hit that area. I understand there's a really big impulse move there as well. So naturally speaking, could see something like that happen again. But yeah, that's the area I'm waiting for price to get to. But yeah, it's looking pretty bullish on the lower time frames. Pound yen. I think, where were we yesterday? We were over here, weren't we? Price kind of just soared to the upside, broke the highs there. Now it's looking like it's continuing to the upside, especially with this really big bearish move there. Really big bearish move that probably would have sent some traders the wrong way, and now price has completely reversed that and looking very bullish. So that might be a bit of a fake move to then help us continue higher. And the highs on the left here, which you mentioned, are probably going to get taken out at 193 there. So yeah, very, very bullish on pound yen short term. Of course, this is the 5-minute chart. But I would suggest if the market was to correct itself a little bit, it probably will form a higher low to keep pushing. So it might be a situation where you're looking for some buys in the short term, for some sells in the longer run. But yeah, this big bearish move here is kind of what would tell me, okay, the market's tried to sell off, but failed miserably. So the buyers look like they're in full control, and probably going to take pound yen to that region. I'm hoping we do get to that 194, 194.5 area, because as I said, that's what I'm looking to short from and trying to catch the next bearish leg to the downside. But yeah, it is looking pretty bullish there for pound yen intraday. We'll take a look at Euro CHF. Excuse me. Then we'll go for Euro Yen for blessing as well. Ping CHF JPY, yes, we'll take a look at that one as well. That is still a pair which does interest me. So we'll definitely take a look at that one as well. Hey, what's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah, Euro CHF. Let's have a look at this one. So yeah, looking very bullish. I think price with this break of structure, excuse me, is telling us that price is about to go for a bit of a counter trend move here. I do think we can go pretty far actually with Euro Swiss, because I was originally looking for these lower highs to continue, but now it looks like price is breaking through them. I'm now looking at these major lower highs, one over there, which of course gave us that drop. This is the next one, which of course gave us this drop. So I'm looking at price coming back into a similar region around that area. So whip out the old channel tool to put everything in context. Yeah, this is kind of the area which I do see the market pushing towards now. So the fact is we didn't continue this trend here and continue lower. Now we're starting to break structure. This might, create a move, something like this for another lower high, which again might sell off later on. Maybe we break out. Of course, that is a possibility too. But now that we aren't continuing this bearish move, we're now in this next bullish phase. So looking for a bigger push to the upside there for Euro CHF. So yeah, I would be pretty bullish. In terms of the structure, it is still pretty choppy, which of course is the common theme of price action with Euro Swiss. But we just invert the chart there. It is very, very choppy here, but I would say I'm expecting a bit more downside now for this one. We might have a bit of a reaction since we have swept the high here, so we might see price pull back. But as soon as we come back into this area where all these high lows are collected, so as you can see, numerous high lows, as we come back into another area where another high low could print, I think that would be a smart place for a buy to try and take price higher, because you wouldn't look to buy now. I know we've broken structure, but buying at this price doesn't make much sense because we're back at resistance, taking out liquidity. Price can definitely have a bit of a drop. But because we're so consistent with these high lows, as long as we don't go and break structure to the downside, I do see another high low forming, and that could be the trade that really does take us to the upside. So I would be looking at something like that for Euro CHF now that we've broken structure. Of course, now's not the best time to buy, but should the market pull back again, I do think that could be a nice buy. Or if you're looking for price to have a bigger breakout, you could look for another big move to the upside and try and catch a retest of that same region. So another big move and then a retest as well. So that could be a nice opportunity there. But nonetheless, very, very bullish on Euro CHF and expecting a lot more upside. Okay, so I'll go through Euro Yen. Healthy DXY retracement in progress. Hit 107.937. Question: can it hold for the 4 hour? Yeah, I was looking at that. I'll take a look at the DXY in a second. Yeah, it's an interesting level because DXY right now is looking very bearish. So if it does bounce, we could see a really nice bullish move. If not, then I probably will stay on the sidelines in terms of USD. But yeah, Euro yen looking very bullish here. I was looking for price to come back into the high for a short. We did that, which was great, but price has of course broken through that as well. So if Euro yen does go and break the high here, then that just invalidates the bearish structure we've just recently printed, because we had some really nice lower lows and lower highs. And of course, for bearish structure to continue, we need to respect those highs. If price doesn't respect them, then I'm looking at that as a sign that the market wants to go up. So at this moment in time, it's looking like price is probably going to take out this high here. We're only a few pips away. The fact is the market didn't respect the resistance back here. So that to me is a big sign that says, okay, the bears don't really have that much say. The buyers are very much in control. And if we do go and break the highs, then that pretty much invalidates that bearish structure. So if that's the case with Euro yen, then we might see another push to the upside, and potentially might still go and hit my level, which I was originally expecting price to get to, which is back at the high there at 166.648, and look for that big double top. But at this moment in time, the way I'm looking at price right now is it looks like the market has tried to sell off, but has been unsuccessful. Overall, the market conditions are pretty choppy, so I don't want to look at price action in too much detail and try and focus more on the extremes, because the lower highs aren't printing anymore. So if we do go and break the high here, for example, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for pullbacks and higher lows, just because I'd probably just box this off as a bit of a range, really, at that moment in time. We had some healthy bullish structure going into this area. Then we started to form bearish structure, which is good, but now it looks like it's going to break back to bullish again. So just not really healthy market structure at all. Like I said, I'll probably just look at that as more of a range now. Yes, a higher low could form and we could see some nice upside, and I would fancy that. But it just becomes very, very corrective. And then this will be more my area of focus, because I know that I'm right at the top of something. So there's a good chance price is going to respect it. It might not give me the full swing, which I'm looking for, but at least it's an area where I could look to get involved and probably at least walk away for smaller profit, even if price doesn't give me the full swing. So yeah, not a big fan of Euro yen's price action if we do end up breaking the high, which is looking pretty likely. I'll probably just consider this consolidation right now for Euro yen. It probably does mean that we are going to push back to the high here, because we are breaking that structure. So I would imagine something like this looks pretty likely, back to 164.865. But it's probably an opportunity which I'll stay away from. Maybe intraday there could be something nice there, but in terms of the swing, nothing's really set there yet for Euro yen. So yeah, yesterday's level of resistance didn't hold. That was the level I was looking to short from. It broke through with ease pretty much, and now we're looking pretty bullish there. So staying away for Aussie Cat, for Euro yen for now, and hopefully we could see some more downside later on. In terms of CHF JPY, then I'll go take a look at the DXY. In terms of CHF JPY, this one still looks good. This one actually still looks good, because still in a relatively healthy area. It looks like we haven't even come back to retest this level yet, or are we just, looks like we're just about to come and test it. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, we have broken the 0.618, but we're probably going to go tag the 0.786. And of course, that level of resistance as well. And again, still forming those lower lows and lower highs. So because it looks like Euro yen is breaking structure, it does lower my confidence with the CHF JPY position, because on average, these JPY pairs tend to do the same thing. If one of them breaks structure, there's actually a good chance the other one's going to break structure as well. But I wouldn't necessarily rule it out, because there are some exceptions to the rule, of course. But again, still looking to short from this area. If we can see some rejection here, wicks, bearish engulfing candles, I will still look to take the trade. And of course, look to see if I can short it back down to the low here, and so on and so forth. We've got some lows here, which I would eventually look to target as well. But I would say CHF-JPY looks the cleaner one of the two. I said Euro Yen and CHF-JPY were the ones I was looking to short. But at the moment, it's probably just CHF-JPY now. So looking to see what we can do at this 172.5 area. It's looking really, really bullish right now for CHF-JPY. We're just flying at the moment. I don't know if is this CHF strength or is this yen weakness? I think it might be yen weakness. Yeah. Yeah, I think yen's a bit weak, but it looks like CHF's a bit strong too. But yeah, CHF JPY is coming into a nice area. Great. But of course, no sign yet of price respect in that area. So we'll wait and see what we can do. Maybe price does come into this level, give us a really nice rejection, and we can find some entries. Or maybe price starts to break through. And of course, if CHF JPY does break this high here, again, invalidates that bearish structure. At that point, you're probably going to be expecting a push back to resistance up here at 175.5. And then you're going to be more interested in these pullbacks. So very, very important level there for CHF JPY. Let's see if we can respect it and put that lower high in. And if we do, we'll look to short and anticipate a swing right back to where we came from, which is 170.4. Then, as I said, back to 168.5 as well, if things do look really good. But yeah, it's in a nice area. Just need to wait for the confirmations. So I do agree there, Ping. Okay, I'll go through the dollar. Okay, we'll take a look at dollar CHF as well. JPY CPO Friday as well. Yeah, there's a lot of JPY news coming out today. A lot of JPY news coming out. Well, not today, Friday and Thursday. So yeah, that's kind of really what I'm looking at for the yen, because I do think we're going to see some movement depending on what happens with the interest rate. Anyway, so the DXY is looking pretty bearish. We are falling pretty aggressively at the moment, but we are still trading in some nice area of support. Let me go to the broker. There we go. So we're still trading at some nice area of support where I do anticipate a bounce. So I am looking for a bounce here for the dollar. As you can see, if we look to the left, really nice rejections of this area. So it does tell me that the market has found support here a few times before. So again, there is a pretty good chance we can do that again. Of course, need to see some evidence for that, which at the moment is not quite there yet. And for all we know, we could break through. But should the market start providing some wicks here, a nice strong close, that's what we want to see in terms of rejection. At that point, I will be fancying a move to the upside there for the dollar, and of course, move to the downside for euro, move to the downside for pound, so on and so forth. But at the moment in time, it is looking pretty bearish. So I'm going to see what happens with the dollar. If this area does break, then I will look at this level back here, which is 160.6. I will also look at that area there as a possible area for a bounce. But if that area breaks as well, then I'm just going to stay away from the dollar because, as I've been saying for a while, I'm bullish on the dollar as long as we hold this level of resistance on the weekly chart. Should price break below that, that completely invalidates my bias. And then I'll be looking at this as a big fake out. So at this moment in time, we'll see if dollar can persist. But yeah, still looking pretty bearish, and we need to wait for signs that price is going to turn. Not quite seeing that just yet, but it is an area where we can bounce. So it's just about waiting for price to give you that information. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the dollar. In terms of USD CHF, this one is respecting that weekly level. In fact, USD CHF actually looks like a really good short because this one has come back into a really strong level of resistance. As you can see, if we look to the left, this is the weekly chart, by the way. Really strong rejection a while ago. Really nice move. Another one back into the same support. You know, who's to say we can't see another one of those moves back into the same area? We very much could do. This is a ranging market. You got your equal lows down here. You got your equal highs up there. And the market has just been respecting both levels very, very well. This is almost like a perfect range there. So, and we're seeing another rejection right now. I mean, I know today's Wednesday. We've still got a couple of days left. and the rest of today as well before that candle does close. But we are seeing at least some type of reaction from that area. So yeah, going forward for dollar CHF, I would say sales look pretty good from this area. And there is a potential really big swing trade to be had if dollar CHF does see the swing of sees the full swing of the range. We could end up back at the lows down here, which is around 0.84. So if I drop to the lower time frames, structure is looking a little bit better. We have been quite choppy, but we are starting to form some lower highs. I'd probably say the lower time frames look the best. Hourly chart looks okay, still pretty corrective. But let's say, should we see another correction like this back into the high, I think that's a nice place for a short, and anticipating another swing to the downside there. It's a very corrective trend, but you can see we kind of have these phases of consolidation, nice move, consolidation, nice move. So if you could see that consolidation again, catch the top of it, that would be a nice area to short from, and a nice area to put your stop loss above as well. But there is bearish structure forming, which is what we want to see from a higher time frame level of resistance. But in terms of a nice place for a short, I would say the only nice place that makes sense to me would be another push back to the high. Looking for a breaking retest here could look good, but I need to see a lot more momentum on the breakout for me to be confident on that breaking retest, because it is still a very choppy pair. And yeah, if it's just a slight break and we start coming back in again, this is where you want to focus your entries. If it's a strong break, then yeah, we could start talking about some break and retest. But so far, I'll say that retest of the high looks the best area for a trade. But yeah, dollar CHF coming back from a really strong level of resistance. If it does respect this area, there could be a really big drop to be had. And especially if USD weakness continues, then that will probably continue with it as well. So that's something I would keep an eye out for dollar CHF. Good morning, Yusuf. Welcome to the stream. Please look at pound yen. Okay, we'll have a look. I'll go through all the yen pairs together. Chris, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Still holding Aussie CAD? Yes, I am. Not moving too well at the moment, but yeah, it hasn't invalidated my area, so I'm still holding the position. In fact, I'll go through that trade first, and then we'll go through the yen pairs together. We'll take a look at the yen basket as well. Euro USD, we'll take a look at on that one as well. No problem. How can I mark touch and go levels in pound USD? Touch and go. I've never really heard it referred to that as before. Well, there's multiple ways you can mark level of support and resistance. I think the best and the simplest way to do that is just focus on the major turning points of the market. And it depends on the time frame you're looking at. But for example, on the 4-hour chart, these are the most obvious levels I'd mark on the chart, because they're major turning points. You can see price had a nice pullback from there, again over there as well. Those are the major areas I'd look at, and of course, I'd probably mark this high here as well, since we did have that big move to the downside from. But support resistance is always broken, created. So you want to focus on pretty much price action you can see on your time frame, which is kind of like this is the amount of information you want to take in. You don't necessarily go all the way to the left and start drawing levels here, not because they're not valid. It's because that's probably a level for a different time frame. So if I was to go to the daily chart, for example, this level of support here is something I would reference from a daily zone. These are more 4-hour zones as well. So you probably want to have your chart to something like this degree. Doesn't have to be exact, but more or less something like this. And then you just want to focus on the major turning points of the market. Do you want to have too many levels of support and resistance on your chart? Probably max, maybe 4. You don't want to have it cluttered. But yeah, you just want to focus on the major areas. So those are major areas. This was another one as well. And you can probably say the low here as well. And then you can use those areas as reference points to say, okay, if we break through this one, we're probably going to get to the next one. So you can plan trades from there. And of course, the price rejects the level, there's a good chance price is going to reverse from that as well. But yeah, you want to keep your levels of support resistance pretty simple. You don't want it to overcomplicate it too much. So like I said, just focus on the major areas where price is bouncing from, and you can use that to your advantage. At the moment, it's currently short on the Aussie CAD. Had a bit of downside, but we had a really strong close down the 4-hour chart. Going to see how that does develop today. But at the level of resistance and at the level of the trend line we're holding, we're still respecting the area pretty well. We've formed these major highs here as well, and you can probably look at these highs here too. As long as price stays very consistent with these lower highs, then I'm expecting a lot more downside there for Aussie CAD. So as long as price can respect those areas, I do think the bigger move for Aussie CAD is all the way back down to these lows. So yeah, I do think price can really, really melt. Same with New Zealand CAD as well. Of course, if price does break out this channel, that's when I take a step back and see what price does next. I only would remain short bias as long as we can stay in this channel. If you start breaking that to the upside, we probably will eventually have a drop, but as to where and when, it becomes difficult. Like I said, I plan areas of confidences out for my trades, and it's up to the market to respect those areas. If it doesn't respect them, then I wait for another area of confidence to set up, and if another area doesn't, then there is no trade for me to take. But at the moment in time, I'm going to see if we can respect this area and then turn around. And yeah, the main target is a push back down to the lows, but I will be trading stops to see if I can swing it back down to 0.86. So yeah, we'll see how that position goes. Don't really have anything else I'm looking to take trades right now. I like CHF but still hasn't seen a rejection yet. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. But potentially I add CHF to the list today if I do get a rejection. Let me go through Euro USD quickly. And what's up, Kingsley? Today was okay, nice. Nelson Mandela's house, wicked. So you're streaming from opposite to Nelson Mandela's house. That is that's pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy Soweto. Okay, I'll go through USDZAR, Eurozar, New Zealand CAD as well. Then I'll go through the yen pairs. So yeah, Euro USD is in a healthy area for a short. I am looking for some downside from this area as well. Again, it kind of goes hand in hand with the DXY because they're both testing some really strong areas of support and resistance. So the dollar, as you can see, keep clicking on the wrong one. There we go. So the dollar, as you can see, retesting a major high here, turn support where we could bounce. Euro USD, same situation, testing nice level resistance where again we could bounce and turn around. So they go hand in hand. If price on the dollar is going to stay weak, Euro USD is going to stay strong most likely, and we're probably going to break through these zones. In that case, there will be no trade. If we do see some nice wicks, some rejection on the dollar, the chances are we're going to see that again on Euro USD. Both of them will probably give us a nice rejection at the zone, and there could be a really nice sell to take. So that's really what I'm looking for here for Euro. Rejection of 1.046 and the rejection of that dollar level. And if things go well, we could be looking for a big swing all the way back to the low there at 1.018. So yeah, very bearish in Euro USD. This was the swing high that gave us this leg, and I'm basically looking for the continuation of that. However, if we do go and break back above this level of support, I will scrap that bias around. I will look at this as a big fake out, and I'll be pretty bullish from there on afterwards because this is the 2-year range Euro USD's had. If this is just a big fake out for price to break back inside, then something like that is what I'll be expecting to happen. So you need to stay below this level for me to keep that bearish bias because I'm looking for a trend to form back down to these lows. If we were to break back inside the range, then there is no breakout anymore, and that would just become a fake out. And it's not that it's not a good trade idea because fake outs are great patterns to trade as well. Once prices confirm the fake out, the next move is normally a pretty big one as well. But if this, can I delete that? There we go. So yeah, if we don't get that breakout, if it doesn't sustain and we don't get that trend, then we are looking at price reversing. So it's a very important area which I'm looking for price to hold and turn around from. I'll go through USDZAR, EuroZAR, and NZD CAD. What's up, Elder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So yeah, USDZAR looking pretty bearish there. What's going on with this one? Are we rejecting the high? Oh, okay. Not bad at all. I generally thought USDZAR was going to keep pushing back to the highs, but it looks to me that price has rejected this area and is putting in another lower high in reference to these highs here. 1, 2, 3. This is looking like number 4, which could take us back down to these lows. I would be wary as, let me draw to the daily time frame. Actually, not, is that the daily? No, that's the 4-day. I would be wary as we start to approach this area, because equally we could still be forming another higher low in comparison to these lows. 1, 2, 3. We could very much correct ourselves, higher low form, and then boom, we could push straight back up again. So I'd watch out for that a lot. So if you're looking for buys for USDZAR, I think this is still a great area for a buy. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you can see the confluence there, 0.5, 0.618, healthy areas to buy from. So I think this is still a really nice place for a buy, breaking retest of the prior high as well. If price was to break through, then that probably gives you the green light that says, okay, we're probably just going to trend back to these lows here, and maybe further as well. But I would say this is still a nice place for a buy. We are rejecting that trend line very well. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought we were going to break through. But now we are respecting it. So I'm looking at this area here for a buy, back down at 18.3. And potentially that could take us back here again. Of course, it's up to you how you want to manage that, how you want to manage that position. But I would say this still looks like a nice buy. If you were to break through, then yeah, I'll be looking at some lower lows and lower highs forming and trying to catch these shorts. So yeah, that's really what I'd be looking for and USDZAR. This could be a really nice trade for a big swing. In terms of EuroZAR, EuroZAR, what's going on? Okay, so last time we had a look at EuroZAR. Okay, so yeah, I've been talking about a move back to the high here for another push into this region, because the market has been so consistent with these lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that wick there. I would expect price to get there again. Essentially, all EuroZAR has been doing is just moving in a descending channel here. So naturally, I do think we'll probably push back to the high. But you have to, we have to keep up that trend. And last time we spoke, we talked about a break and retest of the zone, which did play out. It just respected the high. I remember I said, look for the break and retest here, and then look for the next break and retest of the high. But of course, we didn't get that. It's still in a nice place for a buy. So I would still suggest, I'm expecting another swing to the upside. And then, of course, if we can break the high this time, then we could be looking at some buys on the retest of that level. That's still, for me, the play there for EuroZAR. I think we're actually getting some synchronicity between the two as well, because USDZAR looks like it's coming back to a big level for a buy, and it also looks like EuroZAR is already at a nice level for a buy as well. But I am still looking at a move up to 20.4. So yeah, that's still the play there for both of them, and looking for some buys. And in terms of New Zealand CAD, I've been pretty bearish on this one. In fact, New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD both gave me a signal at the same time. I chose to trade Aussie CAD. Both of them are kind of doing the same thing as well, which is why I just picked one of them. But yeah, I'm expecting more downside for New Zealand CAD as well. If I whip out the old channel, you can see how we've been moving. We've got these lower lows and lower highs. So as you can see, we've come back into that region again, where I do expect us to sell off from. Came back into this brief consolidation, which gave us a really strong move to the downside there, as we can see. And this is the first time price is coming back into that zone. So maybe New Zealand CAD goes for a nice little double top, which could be great for an entry. So should we push back into the zone again, respect it again a second time, That's where you can find your entries and then ride it back to the low. I am looking for price to push back down to this level of support for New Zealand CAD, which we just missed a few days ago, but I do think we'll still get there. We've broken out of this ascending channel here. We've been trading this channel for a while. We broke out of that. So most of the time when price does break out of a ascending or descending structure, price normally does come back to the origin, which is back at this low here. And as you can see, we just missed it. So I do think price is just having one more pullback to form a high and then continue back down. And I do think we'll probably actually break through longer term. So yeah, New Zealand CAD I'm still pretty bearish on. Like I said, Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, I could have shorted either one of them. I chose Aussie CAD just because it's got a bit more distance to the downside in terms of the risk to reward. I'll go back to Aussie CAD quickly. The reason why I decided to short this one is because I know if I'm in the right direction, there's a pretty big drop on my hands back down to the lows here. Whereas New Zealand CAD, not so much, but again, I expect them to do similar things. So yeah, really nice opportunity for a short. Let's say if we do come back up again, keep an eye on that. And yeah, looking for a swing back to support at 0.798. So yeah, that's really where I'm at with that's where I'm at with New Zealand CAD. Hopefully that made sense. Any questions, just let me know. Gaming channel, what do you always call it? Fake out whenever makes higher low or higher highs, because I've noticed that you always call it fake out just because price pushes back into range as it is a pullback. Well, it depends on the structure, but essentially if you look at the market from that way, there is no fake outs, because again, a fake out it's just a technical term. It's not something to abide by and it's and gospel. Support resistance is just a term people come up with to mark out areas where buyers and sellers step in. Fake out is a pattern. Ascending channel is a pattern. Flag is a pattern. It's not an actual thing. It's just a pattern that resembles something. A fake out is something that resembles a level of resistance in the market or support or whatever trend line, which the market breaks through, but then comes back underneath. So that is textbook of what a fake out is. Because essentially, if the market was holding a level, it wouldn't break through. It would just respect and come back down. But if the market does break through and then comes back below it, it's faked that level, because if it was breaking out, it should have continued, but it didn't. It came back below. So by definition, it's a fake of that level. You can consider that a higher high, and price is trending to the upside. That's a higher high, and you're looking for another higher low. That makes perfect sense as well. There's more than one way to look at the market. If there's a solid level of resistance and price breaks a high and comes back below, that's a fake out to me. And most of the time that does give you really nice moves in the opposite direction. And that's a technical pattern which I look to try and take advantage of and try and look to trade. So yeah, it's for that reason. But if you want to view it as something else, that's perfectly fine. Be my guest. But the charts when you are analyzing is very much each their own. So if it doesn't make sense to you, then that's completely fine. But yeah, if a level gets broken and then price breaks underneath again, that for me is a textbook fake out. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, that's what a fake out is to me. All right, take care. We'll have a good one, my man. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, let me get through the yen pairs before I forget. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, link in the description and also at the top of the chat if you do want to join the community. Completely free to join if I didn't mention that already. But yeah, pound yen is another one which I'm looking for a big sell-off as well. I'm looking for price to eventually come back to the lows here. Really big impulse. I'm looking at this as a correction. And then I'm expecting price to continue back down to these lows here. So that is still very much the plan for pound yen. And I do still see a lot more downside. However, yeah, price is a little close to support. So I want price to pull back a little bit greater And this is the area I'm looking at. Really nice resistance in that level. 194.5. Should price get there, I would expect to see a reaction. We did see a minor reaction as we came back to this area here on the lower time frames, as you can see, but it didn't really amount to much. And now the market's looking pretty bullish. And as we spoke about earlier, because I'm looking for price to push back into 194.5, I'm not going to do anything until we get there. So this is really where I'm interested in now for pound yen. And if we can get a reaction off that level, I'll look for entries. But if we don't hold that, then I will be looking for price to get back to the high, because that was the original plan there with pound yen. Looking for price to keep up this correction, basically push back to the high, possibly double top it, maybe spike through, and then sell. That was the plan there for pound yen, but we formed this high here, so it didn't quite happen. And now I'm looking for this momentum to continue. But if it does break, then I will be looking for a push back to the high again for the same idea. So yeah, with pound yen, I'm pretty bearish, not really interested in any of the buys, but waiting for price to push back into that level, and then I'll see what type of entries we can get. So yeah, only expecting more downside. Okay, these were 4 hour, left 1 hour to close, making me sweat. Yeah, the DXY has people be doing that. Yeah, I mean, again, the dollar is gonna make its decision up. It's either gonna go up or down. But if it does, I keep clicking the wrong one. What's going on? If it does respect the area, like I said, I still think we can bounce. If it does break through, then we might have a slightly bigger move in our hands back to 106.8. And then we'll see what price does there. But yeah, it's still looking pretty bearish at the moment. Okay, nice. Nice going, Dark Sean. Now I can focus on finding entries for GJ. Okay. So yeah, what are you looking for GJ? You're looking for price to get back into that that window you said, that gap. This area here, I'm pretty sure is the area you mentioned. So you're looking for price to get there, and then you're looking for some entries, or you're looking to buy it back up into that level and then sell it down. I suppose you're probably looking for both, aren't you? But yeah, I am looking for price to get to at least 194 before I do start looking to short. In terms of dollar yen, I do like USD JPY. I'm still pretty bullish on this one, and it hasn't quite tested my area, but it's the only yen pair which I'm actually looking to buy right now. If I expand to the higher time frames, it's still a really healthy bullish structure. We respect the lows back there. We actually respected some really nice structure on the weekly chart, prior resistance, came back, used it as support as well. So I'm looking for dollar yen to get back to this high. And my plan is to try and find the next high low to get in and then swing it back to that high. And if I go back to the 4-hour chart, that zone I've highlighted is the level which I want to see price test before I start looking for entries. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you can see we've got the 0.5 running through the zone. This is where I do want to position myself long and hopefully at least take it back to the high here. But as I said, I will be looking to trail and see if I can get it back to the high over there, which is at 162, 150, 161, 500, more or less. But yeah, very bullish for dollar yen. It's really corrective right now. So I like it because it gives me the characteristic of a market that is going through a retracement. We did have quite a lot of momentum when we did break out of this ascending channel here, but we're coming quite corrective now. So yeah, if that continues back into that zone, 154 more or less, we'll be looking for some entries, and hopefully I'll be able to find an entry to take it back to the high and hopefully further as well. But yeah, dollar yen's the only yen pair which I'm actually really looking to buy at the moment, really. So hopefully I can find some entries there. Excuse me. Yusuf, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Please, during your learning phase, how do you get around making valid pullback in a trend? Do you measure by how deep they are or how many candles appear? Good question. Again, the word valid is a little bit open to interpretation because any pullback can technically be valid, but because for me a valid pullback is a pullback that fits my plan, which might not necessarily be valid for someone else. But in terms of what I look for in terms of pullback, I look for price to at least pull back past the 50 of the fib, because in terms of a healthy of a healthy pullback, and in terms of buying at sensible prices, if you think about a move in the market, say we have a nice bullish move and the market starts to pull back, technically the market could pull back at any point to any particular length and continue. But the better prices is when the market has a deeper correction because you're buying at a better price. It goes back to the situation where if you're trying to buy something, you want to buy it at the lowest price possible. If you're buying, I don't know, shoes for £50, but you can get them for £10, you'd rather pay £10 than 50, of course. And that's the same with a pullback. You'd rather try and buy a pullback down here than buy it all the way up there. So for me, I always look at the fib of an impulse and try and measure the 50, and that's really the first place I'm looking for entries. But generally speaking, I'm looking for entries anywhere in here. So that's the first thing I'm looking for. I'm looking for a price to at least pull back past the 50, because then I know that the pullback is a little bit overextended, and I'm buying at a better price. And in terms of risk to reward, it'll be better as well. Secondly, I'm looking for levels of support and resistance. So I'm looking for price to have bounced at a certain area or supply and demand. In this case, it's a bit more of an area of demand where we did consolidate for a little bit before we had a really big push to the upside. So I know a lot of momentum came here from previously. So I know that we could potentially see that again. And of course, it lines up with the 50. So I know that we've had a healthy correction. And then normally I do look for trendline confluence as well, which in this case, we do have one connecting this higher low and that higher low up as well. If we can bounce on that trend line there too, that's of course another green sign. So really what I'm looking to do is try and build confluence for a pullback, to give myself multiple reasons why the market has had a pullback and why it could continue. And if I can get at least 3 good confluences, for me that is more than enough to take a position. But yeah, it's a good question. In terms of how the market needs to pull back, I like it when we are corrective. So let's say you had a nice push to the upside and then we're slowly pushing down. That's really what I want to see in terms of the characteristics. Excuse me, and the way that price is moving. I don't want price to impulse up and then impulse right back down again. Not usually a healthy sign of retracement. Not to say that they won't work and we won't continue, but this is a much more higher probability pattern for continuation than this one. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking for in a nutshell. Yes, looking to write it back to that zone, and then so okay, nice. Looking to hit both sides there. Okay. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking at for dollar yen. Let me go take a look at CAD yen. So CAD JPY, I said a couple of days ago, there's a nice break and retest opportunity, and it did play out pretty well, except prices come back straight back up again. I said the shorts look good from this zone. You respected it pretty well. Nice sell off, of course, with the yen mini crash we had not last night, but the night before. Now the price at that same zone again. But like I said, yen's looking a little bit weak right now. So the yen pairs are on the up slightly. If CAD yen can hold onto this level, that would be great. We can probably see the continuation again. But I have to admit the price action is not looking great. And I say that because we had such a strong move to the downside, as you can see. And then we had equally a strong move back up again, which is pretty much what I just said. If this was a strong move, I want price to slowly push back up. And then that will give me confidence that price is likely still to continue in that direction. If we impulse down and then impulse back up, that's more of a V-shaped pattern, which tends to be a reversal pattern. If the market impulses up and impulses back down, it kind of cancels out that original move, and it's more of a sign that price is ready to push, back up. Whereas if you have an impulse and the market slowly pushes up, then it's a sign that, okay, the buyers are really struggling to take price higher. The sellers are still in control of the market, so we're likely to spill back over. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. So yeah, I wouldn't say it looks great right now. I know it's still at resistance technically, but I would say that we're probably less likely to hold this time and more likely to break through. Doesn't mean we can't turn around, but this was a really nice short a couple of days ago. The fact is we took out the lows, did it well, and still came back up. Yeah, red flag there for CAD yen. And of course, if you do break back inside that area, then we're back inside consolidation and things get very choppy again. We're probably going to see something like this happen and a push back to the high as well. So yeah, with CAD yen, if we do break back inside that zone, I would just box off price and not really pay too much attention to it. Actually, at that point, I'll kind of just stay on the sidelines and wait to see if we can get a push back to the high here at 111.5, because originally that's what I said I was looking to short from. I'm still looking at this massive impulse. I'm still looking at this as a correction. So I'm still looking to short at the high here. And it looks like maybe if we do break back inside that range, we will get that push to the high, and then I'll get those shorts I'm looking for. But yeah, CAD yen not looking great. I know it's testing some resistance right now, but it looks like price is trying to break above that. And unless we see a really strong rejection, which we haven't really seen yet, at least on the hourly time frame, we haven't. Maybe if we see a really strong bearish engulfing candle like this, that could be a nice sign to short. But if we don't, then yeah, price is likely to break through and probably keep going to push to the upside. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, what are these guys doing? Okay, still within the range. Again, not really interested in price. I've said with these two particular currency pairs, I'm not really interested until I see a confident breakout. And right now, price is just ranging. So I do want to see price break the high or break the low. Again, in the long run, I am looking for a push all the way back down here. But again, we may push the upside first, hit the highs there before we do get that move. So that could be way, way into the future. I think the next best opportunity with Aussie yen is just waiting for the breakout and looking to follow that momentum, because we had a really nice range, like a month ago back over here, really nice breakout. Now we're back in another range. So it's been range upon range with here, with Aussie yen, and same with New Zealand yen as well. So should price see another break to the upside, I would expect some pullbacks, retest, and continuations. And it looks to me that price may be putting in another higher low in comparison to these two higher lows here. So one over there, second there. This may be the third. And if you do see a confident break to the upside, looking for the retest of structure, and you've got some clean targets back to the high there as well. So at the moment, I would say stay away from Aussie yen whilst we're in the range, because it's just going to be chaotic. You're going to get a lot of noise in there, and it's going to be difficult to find solid entries with a good stop loss. But should we break out and do it with some healthy momentum, then sure, probably see some really nice pullbacks and some longs off the back of that, and push back to the high of 102.364. So yeah, that's kind of really what I'm favoring for Aussie yen. In terms of New Zealand yen, same thing really. To be honest, you got your consolidation there as well. Of course, you can see the prior consolidation we had a month ago, a couple months ago. Actually, this was back in October. So yeah, price has been moving pretty sideways in both of those areas. But again, if we can see another healthy breakout, we can probably push back to the high around 192. Sorry, and again, some break and retest opportunities will look very, very good there as well. And that's if yen weakness does remain. So it could be some nice opportunities there back to the high. And of course, in the opposite direction as well, should price break the low of the range, then of course, looking for the retest and long-term targets back at that wick low. So either which way, there's an opportunity here for New Zealand yen, whether we break low or break high. The key thing we're looking for is just a good breakout for good retest or pullback opportunity to ride that momentum. But yeah, at the moment, just a lot of consolidation. So I would stay away in there. Not looking attractive at all. Happy to help, Yusuf. Happy to help. If DXY gets a bounce, I will bounce you up tomorrow in chat. Okay, DXY better bounce then. No problem. Okay, Elder, yes, we'll take a look at oil for you as well. Let me just go through the JPY basket quickly. And then we'll go to we'll take a look at oil. Okay, so JPY basket, I said yesterday, can we hold this area? Because we had that aggressive rejection yesterday, and we've had a bit of a sell-off since then. So if price can hold this area, I do think we can see a continuation. But of course, if we break through, then that probably gives us the green light for the yen basket to come back to the lows here, which is all the way back at 6,200. And of course, if the yen basket makes this move, then that means pound yen's going to push up, euro yen's going to push up, CHF JPY is going to push up. We're probably going to get the breakout for Aussie yen and New Zealand yen to the upside. Dollar yen's going to push up as well. So yeah, it could mean a lot of upside for the yen pairs, but it is coming to support. We have formed higher lows previously. Nice double bottom back here. Then we had the higher low there as well. We have kind of snapped the trend line, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do retest that level and then continue. So we're coming into a very important region here for the yen basket. If we do hold, then I'll probably see the setup I want to see on the Swiss yen. Because like I said, I'm looking for shorts here for the lower high, retesting some price support time resistance. It's pretty much what the yen basket is doing right now. So yeah, if we can reject that level, I'll probably see the setup I want to see on Swiss yen as well. So we'll wait and see. Maybe price breaks through, maybe we don't. But if we know if price does break through, probably going to come back to the low here. So yeah, a lot more weakness for the yen will be anticipated. In terms of oil, so oil to me is looking really, really bearish. I just say that and it's got a very strong candle. I mean, generally speaking, it's looking pretty bearish. There you go. So yeah, it's looking really bearish in terms of the level we are rejecting, because I'm looking at oil. I'm looking at these major lower highs prices printed. We've got one over there. We can see, there we go. We've got one over there, second over there, third in that area. Then I was looking for price to come back into this level, reject it a fourth time, and see some downside. And we did break through, but it looks like price has redeemed that, and we're trading back below again. So as long as price can stay below this area of confluence, which is this 78 level here, as long as we can stay below that, I am expecting oil to go through a bit of a sell-off, right back to these lows and further. We've got a wick low here. I'm expecting price to take out as well. So yeah, with oil, I'm actually pretty bearish, and I do think price can have a really big sell. Of course, if price does break back above that level, then I will look to rechange that bias again. Because at that point, we're not respecting the confluence anymore. But for now, we are doing a pretty good job. I'm looking at that as a bit of a fake out. And if we do remain below that, I am expecting a really big sell-off for this one. So in terms of like entries, it becomes a little bit awkward. It becomes a little bit awkward in terms of finding entries, because it's like, okay, in theory, you would like a stop loss above the high there, but that's a pretty big stop loss. We could come back into the zone again, respect it, and then you put an entry, a stop loss above that high, which makes sense as well. But then, yeah, you need price to get back up there again, unless we start to form some bearish structure. like so, and then we can find a retest somewhere. Now that could make a lot more sense, but of course we haven't formed that yet, so we need to stay patient for that. But in terms of direction anyway, like I said, as long as we can hold 78, I am very bearish on oil, and I do think we will keep falling. Break above that level again, then scrap that bias. We might be pushing back to the next swing high, which is back at 84.37. But for now, really bearish, expecting more downside. So if I was looking to trade oil, I would either wait for price to respect the high again, then put some stop losses above the high, or I'd wait for some bigger swings to form so I can look for a retest somewhere, try and get an entry around here. And of course, try and look for my swing or at least back to the low there, but maybe a lot further as well. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with oil. Still pretty bearish on this one. Looking for us to keep falling, but we need to stay below 78. Anyway, I'll go through some of the crosses. I think I went through all the JPY pairs. I don't think I missed one out, did I? No, I don't remember missing out a JPY pair. If I did miss one out, let me know. No problem, Elder. Happy to help. So yeah, I'll go through the crosses. We'll take a look at some of the CAD pairs as well, and then we'll go through some of the C-chair pairs as well, because they are looking not really interesting, to be honest. There's a couple that look okay, but they've been very choppy for a while. So we'll see how they get on, but we'll go through some of the crosses. But first, we'll start with the CAD pairs. So like I said, I was shorting Aussie CAD. We went through New Zealand CAD as well, which I'm expecting a similar move. In terms of Euro CAD and Pound CAD, again, two pairs I'm not really looking to trade, to be honest. So I haven't really been staying up to date with the price action, to be honest. The only time I'll look at these pairs is during the stream, really, or just before the stream. Every week I'll have the pairs that I'm looking to trade, and those are the pairs that I will keep up to date throughout the week, because otherwise I'll be trying to keep up to date with 30 plus pairs every single day, which again is a lot of work, and just isn't necessary. If you're going to look at 5 pairs for the week that you're going to trade, then those are the 5 pairs you want to keep up to date with. Maybe there's some others that might come good and give you a setup, so you keep them in the loop a little bit. But yeah, there's no way I'm going to look at every single pair every day, in terms of my personal trading anyway. Anyway, EuroCAD's been extremely flat, so that's the main reason why I haven't been looking to trade it, because the price action isn't going anywhere. We're not really seeing a trend or direction. And the best way to kind of trade these situations is, of course, to look to try and pick the highs and pick the lows, which is not too difficult. It sounds a bit hard, pick the high, pick the low. But essentially, you just want to make sure that you're in that area where a high or low is likely to form, aka at the top of the range or at the bottom. And then you wait for some clear-cut rejection. And the beauty of it is that if you're right, you're looking at some pretty healthy risk reward. You don't necessarily have to look for a swing all the way back to the low for it to be a profitable trade. If I whip out the 50% here for the fib and mark that on, this could be a target for the trade. 50% of the range. You can see price has done that multiple times. Really nice rejection here back to the 50. If you can find some entries on the 4-hour or the hourly chart, you're looking at some really big risk rewards just back to the 50% of the range there. But anyway, I digress. In terms of the price action, not looking great. I did say this is not a bad place to short from. We did see price respect it a little bit, but it looks like we've only gone halfway. So I would suggest, if you're still looking for entries for EuroCAD, you want to see price get back there again. And of course, look for another sell. If not, then we do have this resistance up there at 1.515, which again, really sturdy resistance. Multiple rejections of. So I would say this is a smart place to look for another rejection as well. Probably, again, target the 50. And probably trail stops along the way as well, just in case we form a high-low somewhere and price does reverse. We can still protect our floating profits. But yeah, for EuroCAD, like I said, it's an extremely flat market. It's just moving sideways. So the way to trade it is because our average price is probably around here somewhere for the past couple of years. So as price does push away from that average price, because it is flat and it is just fluctuating. You're looking for a reversion back to the mean reversion, and you're looking to try and call the high and call the market to come back to that mean. Essentially, when's the market bit extended? Okay, it's extended at the high here. It's extended at the high here. We're likely to snap back towards the mean. We might not get all the way there, but we're probably going to head back in that direction for a period of time. Then maybe we do break out at a later date, of course, or maybe we continue even further. We don't know. But yeah, because the market's flat, kind of want to be trading towards that center. And of course, at the high or at the lows where you're going to get the best entries for that. And yeah, I would be looking at a retest of that high there. Nice wick there a couple of days ago. It's always better when a market wicks through a level rather than into a level. Say you got level of resistance here, instead of just seeing a big wick into a level, and then you get your candle close down here. It's always best if the market can wick through a level and you get the candle close there, because the wick represents price trying to break through and breaking through successfully on the lower time frames. But by the time that candle was closed, the market's pulled all the way back and respected the level. So it shows a much more meaningful rejection rather than price just testing the level and then coming back down again. It's still rejecting the level, but this is a much more sign that it's much more confident, or a much more significant sign that price has really respected that level and more likely to turn. So it would be nice if we were to push back up, maybe get a wick through that area and then see a rejection off that. But yeah, those are the two areas I would look at for EuroCAD. In terms of pound CAD, things look okay there. Again, I am expecting a bit of a bearish trend to fall. We'll be trending to the upside for a while. I am looking for lower lows and lower highs on the way down, but need to stay patient. What's up, Anthony? Welcome to the stream. What's happening with the Euro pairs? Haven't really gone through. Well, take a look at Euro USD. That's looking pretty bullish. Euro CAD we just looked at. That's looking semi-bullish. Euro yen's looking pretty bullish as well. And Euro CHF is looking pretty bullish. It looks like the Euro pair is on the up, to be honest. I'm not really focused around Euro, but from what I've seen, they look pretty bullish here. Did we have Euro news this week? I don't think we did, or any big ones. But yeah, do you have any specific Euro pairs you're looking to trade, or are you just looking for like a general? You're just generally looking at the Euro pairs. But yeah, for pound CAD, I'm looking at downside. It would be nice if price could break through the low here and then look for some lower highs afterwards, but looks like we respect that level pretty well. Yesterday, I did talk about some downside from this area. We did see that rejection through the level, really nice rejection a couple days back on Monday. And I do think from this area, we can see some downside for pound CAD, but I wouldn't be too confident. Like I said, I do expect to see a big sell for pound CAD, but we are respecting this low pretty well. And this is, in fairness, the low that gave us the swing. Ooh, there we go. Gave us the low that gave us the swing, which created new highs. So technically speaking, that is our last major swing low, and we are respecting that area. So technically the market is still bullish. So although, yes, we're coming to a nice level, respecting it pretty well, we could see another drop there for pound CAD. But if we stay respecting this area, the bullish trend is still intact and we could still very much continue to the upside. So the shorts are still what I would say counter trend. I know there's a lot of momentum, really nice drop the past few days and a really nice corrective pullback. But this is still in a very important low, which is still holding. So the buyers still do have a bit of a say in the market, although we are seeing some signs that the market's getting ready to turn. Price respecting the level here on numerous occasions, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a sign of a healthy trend in the market anymore. And we're seeing really strong moves to the downside as well. So I do think eventually we will see the market turn around and give us something like this, but you have to stay patient. But for now, I think this could be a nice little trade for the next day. Then maybe you break through, maybe you respect it. We'll see when we get there. Anthony, during looking at Euro, okay, what you're looking at for the week, okay. Yeah, I'll go through my watch list actually now, and then I'll go through some of the crosses afterwards. But yeah, I have been looking at a lot of the yen pairs, Euro, yen, and Swiss yen, with my two yen pairs I was focused at this week. Euro yen looks like it's about to break structure. If not, it has already. Let me check. Can't tell. Looks like it's maybe just about pinched the high. For my crosshair, yeah, it looks like it has. So yeah, yen has pinched the high there. So although it could reject the resistance and come back down again, the fact that it has pinched the high does lower the probability of this playing out. So Euro yen, not really something I'm focused at anymore. I am still looking for a lower high, but it doesn't look like it's giving me what I was after. I was originally looking for price to respect the trend line here, but it didn't. It's broken through that, and now it looks like it's taking up the high. But CHF is still holding up my area of interest. If we can respect this area, I will look to short. Again, similar market structure. We've got a double top up there. Market dropped from the lower low, lower high, lower low, another lower high, and again another lower low. So I am looking for a lower high in this area for a drop back into support, which is back at the 170.342 area. And if things go really well, hopefully I can swing it back down into the 168.5 area, which is of course that low. There we go. So this is probably my main market I'm looking at, to be honest. That's my main area of focus now for CHF because this one's still respecting structure well, still respecting my confidence as well. I just need to see a confirmation in terms of entry. So bearish engulfing candle, wicks, market shift and momentum. That's really what I'm looking for to get me into the trade. Of course, if we do break through and we start to take out this high, that will invalidate the structure and I'll be looking elsewhere. But for now, it's still intact. So yeah, still looking at another drop. In terms of other pairs, I'm still looking for buys on pound NZD and pound Aussie. So if I zoom out, you can see how consistent we've been with these higher lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking for another one in that area for another bounce. Specifically, I'm looking for the retest of the high here. So I want to see a little bit more downside before I start looking for a buy. But that's the area where I'm anticipating a bounce. And pound Aussie as well, which is of course a very similar pair to pound NZD. Same characteristics with these higher lows. And again, looking for another one. I'm looking for price to retest the high here. So again, a little bit more downside, but I am looking for a bounce there for pound Aussie. And I'm also looking at Euro USD and Pound USD as well. Again, similar pairs doing the same thing. Let's see if we can respect these zones. Euro USD pulling up into a nice level here at 1.04650. If I can see price respect this area, again, wicks, bearish engulfing candle, I will look for entries, stop loss above the zone, and targets back down at the low. Pound USD, same characteristics. Retesting this level of support, looking for a strong rejection, wicks, bearish engulfing candle, looking for entries there, and again, targets back down at that low. But if this level shouldn't hold and price does break through, then I will be looking at more entries back at the 1.25 area. Again, solid support. Hopefully, will act as resistance, and it's actually a better trade than this one because should that play out, I'm probably looking at maybe double the risk to reward, or at least a lot more anyway. So the shorts up there look pretty good, and in terms of targets, back down to 1.21. So yeah, very bearish in pound, very bearish in euro. DXY, of course, will have its say on that. Dollar needs to respect this level of support, which is trading at right now 107.6. We're coming back into a really strong level of support here for the dollar. As you can see, respected it once, twice, a third time, narrow there again. If we can hold, I do think dollar can turn around, which of course should help Euro USD turn around, and should of course help pound USD turn around as well. So yeah, those are my main pairs I'm looking at. Oh, I forgot one as well, gold. It's just because I think gold is just going to keep flying. So that's why I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, gold, really confident break of the high this week. It was a pair that wasn't on the watch list just yet because I needed to break out resistance first before I can add it to my watch list. Otherwise, it's just the market which is fluctuating in a range. But we did get the breakout this week and a confident one as well. So now I do like gold again, and I like the retest here of 27.20 for a push back to the all-time highs, which is over here at 27.90 more or less. So very bullish on gold and looking for pullbacks with this one. We are starting to slow down a little bit here, which is a good sign. It means that pullback may happen. Whether it will be a deep enough correction to get back here and retest the high is yet to be seen, but that's really where my interest lies. And hopefully we can take it back to the all-time high and further as well. And this is definitely an opportunity which I want to trail stops. Yes, I'll probably look to lock in some gains at the high, but who knows with gold, we could see a massive push to 2,900. You don't know with gold. It can be very exponential at some time. So yeah, looking for the buy, continuing with these higher lows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking for number 6, retest the level, back to the high, and hopefully higher as well. So yeah, those are the pairs I'm looking to trade, and hopefully you can get some entries on them. And also, so yeah, silver looks good. It's lagging behind gold a little bit, but I like silver in terms of the risk to reward, in terms of the potential, because I am favoring silver to get all the way back to the high there. This is still a uptrend, maybe not the most confident uptrend you will see. It's a little bit corrective, but the key thing is we're still putting in higher highs and higher lows and still respecting them. So as long as that stays a fact, I'm looking at buying silver. I'm looking at this low here as being the next higher low in comparison to the previous one. So if that is going to be the next higher low, then there's a pretty good chance we get back to the high and so on and so forth. And of course, with silver as well, the all-time highs are all the way up there. So silver's nowhere near the all-time highs. Gold is right next to them. Silver's nowhere near. So in terms of opportunities for big buys and swing trades, and even just buying to hold, silver's got a lot of upside potential. So I'm excited with silver. I think silver's price action is going to really pick up over the next few days, especially if gold takes out the all-time high. I think silver's going to look to pick up the pace a little bit. But at the moment, we do have these higher highs and higher lows. I am looking to try and find the next higher low of silver. But I'm going to be a bit careful because we do have this high to contend with. This is a high that formed, which had a really aggressive move to the downside, broke structure as well. So, if we do hold that area again, price can definitely send us back down to these lows here again. So I have to watch out for that. But should price take out that area and give us a higher high, then that for me is just the green light to say that, okay, silver's now on its way back to the high here. Then the plan will be to try and find those next high lows that form afterwards to ride it back up, so on and so forth. So yeah, silver's got a lot of upside as well. I like silver too, but it's not quite ready yet in terms of the entries. Gold, I've seen a clean break of the high, and it's left behind a solid level of support to buy from. So in terms of setups right now, as in this week, gold can give me that. Silver, I feel like maybe next week, maybe if it continues, it might develop into something. But right now, I'm not looking for entries just yet for silver. But yeah, gold is definitely on the cards here. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But yeah, in terms of the crosses, so like I said, pound Aussie, pound NZD, I'm looking for longs on those two currency pairs. Both, I just want to see a little bit more downside, and then I'll start looking for entries. But the goal is to try and catch another one of these higher lows. As I said yesterday, I'm not necessarily looking for a swing all the way back to the high there at 2.02. It might be halfway, it might be a third of the way, because I'm actually kind of expecting in the longer term a big sell-off for these pairs. So kind of getting ready for that. But as long as we keep up these higher lows, I can't look for that move just yet. So looking for the buys for now. This is still where my confidence lies. Pound NZD, same situation there as well. Looking for another higher low, retesting the prior high over there. You can see the numerous higher lows. Price has been stacking on top of each other. There's a good chance another one of those lows can form, even if it is just a push, a third of the way up for price to then sell off. I can still profit on that move there. So yeah, waiting for a little bit more downside, then hopefully some entries. In terms of Euro entity and Euro Aussie, these guys just look like a myth to me. Price action is absolutely doo-doo. So I'm not interested in trading these guys at all. You've got equal highs there, equal lows there, and price is just back and forth between these two levels. There is a level here which the market is doing a pretty good job to respect too. So I think eventually Euro Aussie probably will do something like this eventually. If not, it probably break to the high, then do the same move. But all I'm looking for is just price to continue in that kind of range. Whether it holds this high and sells off from there, or breaks through that and sells off from there, is up to Euro Aussie dollar. But I do think a big swing to these lows is what's on the cards here. But yeah, not really my preferred type of price action. I'm always looking for trend. I'm always looking for direction. Compare this market to pound NZD, which has a clear trend. Again, whether that trend is going to continue or not, I'm not to know until afterwards. But at least I've got direction, which I can take advantage of. Whereas Euro Aussie, just a very flat pair. So the only way I know how to trade these type of markets is look at the sell high as possible or buy as low as possible. And these two levels can give you that. So yeah, looking for a big sell-off for both for those levels, but not really interested in the pair. And UN's the same situation as well. Very, very flat market. You got your equal highs here, your equal lows back down here, and the market has just been respecting these levels continuously. So again, with Euro entity, if we do respect the high here, we can definitely have a big sell-off back to the low, just like Euro Aussie. And of course, if we break out, we could go for a pretty big move to the upside as well. But for now, still respecting the high. I always expect resistance to hold until it doesn't. That's always my thinking when price gets to a level. I'm expecting price to bounce. And if it doesn't bounce, then I'll, of course, readjust. So I'm looking for price to turn around. It's taking its time, kind of consolidating there. Should we see a big break of that? I feel like that would be the catalyst to get the ball rolling and see a big push down. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with those currency pairs. In terms of euro pound, really big move to the upside this month, which was expected. Again, we came into a really big level on the monthly chart, which again, naturally expecting a bounce from. Again, the same thinking which I have with USD, I had with Euro Pound, coming back into a big monthly level like this. I'm always expecting price to bounce here until it doesn't, until proven otherwise. So this month we saw that reaction from this level of support, and it looks like we're going to get a bullish Jan. I know the month is still not over yet. We've still got about a third of the way to go, but more or less we are looking pretty bullish. So the plan for Euro Pound has been to find some buys on the pullback. This was my level of interest, but price broke through this level. Kind of left me in the dust a little bit. We broke out, really nice big candle. Momentum was looking really good, but we just kind of continued to the upside without looking back. But we are looking pretty corrected now, so I do expect to see a move to the downside at some point. Just need to stay patient for that, really. So yeah, with Euro Pound, I am looking for a push back into that area for a buy. But yeah, I don't think I'll be getting that really. I would keep an eye on this area because we are still putting these lower highs in. 1, 2, 3, 4. We very much could put another one of those highs in at that area. So I think equally, this is still not a bad area for a short if you're looking for a big swing. But the buys, I was looking down here, are still very, very far away. So not too focused on that at the moment in time. But there might be some nice sells at that high. In terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, this one's looking very, very corrective. Again, in general, I'm still looking at these higher time frame swings. One over there, second over there, third. I'm looking at a fourth. I was hoping to see another push back into support. I think we still can really, because we're looking so corrective on the way up. Something like that is still very much on the cards. So you can see how corrective we are in this bullish move here. Not really giving you signs of confidence that this trend's going to continue for long. Probably are going to go through a bit of a dip. And if we could see price push back down to that low, I will be looking for entries for hopefully a big swing back to the high, and hopefully back into 1.11652. So Aussie New Zealand dollar is a pair I'm looking at, but this pair moves extremely slow. So I know it's going to be a while until we get there. So yeah, it's probably not a setup for next week or maybe the week after. So yeah, that's on the back of on the list right now. But if it does get there, I am interested. In terms of the CHF pairs, which pair should we start with? Had a look at Euro CHF earlier. We'll go take a look at Pound CHF because I know this one's in a big range. I'm waiting for it to break out. And it looks like we're still bouncing off that low. So there's your equal highs, there's your equal lows, and I'm looking for price to break to the downside, hopefully back into this level here, because the thinking is we had a high here, great move, formed a low, another lower high, great move, formed another lower low. So I'm now looking for another lower high in comparison to those two previous highs. Again, for another big swing to the downside, back into these lows, and maybe further. But because we are consolidating, I don't want to try and get involved in here. I want to get involved when price is outside that range and momentum is back in the market. And hopefully I can look for a pullback somewhere and take it back into the low. So yeah, I'm very bearish on Pound CHF, but at the moment we are just range bound, really respecting the lows very well. And it's not really giving me much to work with. So I have to stay patient. We may see another swing back to the upside again. Not interested in that move, to be honest. I'm waiting for price to break the low. And if we can do that, fantastic. Then I'll be looking for entries. Something like this. We test the low. And we've got a pretty big move to work with. Back down to 1.078, which is back at this low. But first things first, let's break out of that range. Otherwise, there's not much for me to do. Ping, yes, we can look at US30. I haven't actually looked through the indices today, actually. So that is a good point. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for Pound CHF. We'll go through some indices now. We'll start with US30, which is looking very bullish. Yeah, it's looking very bullish. So US30 to me looks like it's trying to push back to the all-time highs there at 45K. From an intraday level, I was speaking about some buys yesterday. Specifically, we're talking about this really big bearish move, really strong bearish candle, but it just formed a low. Price reversed that very quickly. Then it broke to the upside. So I said from an intraday point of view, the buys look really good because it looks like this big bearish candle has probably flushed out some traders, whether people getting excited and selling into that, or they had some stops below this low here. Either way, it would have taken out a bunch of traders or got people caught on the wrong side of the market there. So now that the market's had a really big push, it's left behind some healthy structure for some buys. So I would suggest to wait for a bit of a pullback, which is what you just said there. So very much align with what you're looking at, and then looking for some more upside there. Basically looking to try and catch the next higher low in this area, and a nice continuation. Whip out the fib. Doesn't quite come into the 50, but we could spike into it anyway. And yeah, I would take that back at least to the high. So if we pull back from there, at least back to the high there. But I do think we can eventually get to the all-time highs, which is pretty far away. So I would say it's a little bit optimistic to try and buy here and hold all the way to the all-time high. What you could do is buy there, take most of your profit back at the high and leave small positions to run just in case we do see a nice swing back to the 45 K, which is of course the high there. But yeah, things are looking very bullish. We've broken through structure a while ago now, and we're seeing a pretty healthy trend there on the lower time frames. There is possibly a bigger pullback we could see If I draw the fib from the low to the high there is that possibility for a bigger pullback, come back, retest some structure here, and then continue to the upside. So watch out for that, because this is a really nice bullish leg, and price might be a bit tired of that and might go for a bigger correction, respect some prior areas of resistance, turn support. We've got the 50 there, that fib as well. So yeah, that bigger pullback might be a reality. So keep an eye out for that. But from an intraday level, pullbacks look good there as well. So yeah, that's really where I'm at with US 30. We'll take a look at the NAS and the S&P as well. CGFJPY, okay, we'll take a look at that one for you, no problem. Happy to help, Chris. Happy to help, my man. No problem, Anthony. Happy to help. Let's take a look at the S&P and NAS, and then I'll take a look at Swiss yen as well. So yeah, S&P, no messing around yesterday. It has broken through the trend line like it weren't there, and we've seen a pretty healthy swing to the upside, and we're not too far from the all-time high. So yeah, I just expect us to get to the all-time highs now and see some new highs pretty soon afterwards. Again, similar to US 30, had a lovely spike to the downside. If I go back to the 4-hour chart, you can see this wick here. Again, trapping traders on the wrong side. Drop to the hourly chart, same thing as US 30. People selling into that, or stop losses here. Either which way, caught on the wrong side. And now the market's seen a really nice follow through to the upside. So it has left behind some healthy areas for some pullbacks. So let's say the US session kicks in, we see a bit of a drop. That could end up being a nice pullback for a buy. I don't think this one probably comes to the 50 either. Yeah, that's even further away, but still a relatively healthy pullback. Retest that zone. And of course, because the all-time highs are just above us, you can be a bit more confident to hold on to positions to that high there. But of course, I would still look to lock in gains at the swing high on the lower time frames. But yeah, S&P to me still looking very bullish. A lot of momentum on the breakout, and looks like we're just going to take out the highs on the left pretty soon. In terms of NAS, I don't think we had as big of a move, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no, but we have taken out the high here on the left. So yeah, it's a break of structure now. Price is broken through the trend line here as well. Again, lovely wick to the downside. Again, now the market is breaking to the upside. So next goal is a push back to the high here. And of course, after that, we push back to the all-time high. If I drop to the hourly chart, again, left behind a solid level structure. You can see the price action looks pretty much the same across all these US indices. The big drop to the downside and the kind of slow grind higher, leaving behind some healthy areas of resistance. Now will be turn support, pretty much doing the same thing. So they're probably all going to give us the pullback or not, and continue higher. But yeah, this will be the next target for NAS, and then the all-time highs there to look at as well. But yeah, very, very bullish from these indices. Yeah, there's not much to say other than look for your buying opportunities, whether you're looking for a bigger pullback and a bigger correction, which is fine. It's just maybe a little bit less likely, but should it happen, it will give you a pretty big swing trade to look at. I think if you are looking for the bigger pullback, you probably want to focus on US 30. That one has a bit more of a possibility to give you that. Still a long way to go back to the high. If you're looking for intraday opportunities, US 30 looks good as well. I'd say NAS 100. NAS 100 looks very good back into that next high, and S&P looks really good back into the all-time high. So yeah, very, very bullish on those indices. CHFJPY, let me go take a look at it now. So yeah, CHFJPY, very bearish in this market structure. We've seen numerous low lows and low highs. We had originally the double top on the left there. Since then, the market has been printing lower high after lower high. So my thought process is I'm looking for these low highs to continue until proven otherwise. So if price was to push up, break structure, that's of course what will invalidate my bias, and then I'll drop back, reanalyze the chart, see where we can go from there. But for now, things are bearish. So the plan is, can we find that next lower high in this bearish sequence? And this is, of course, the area I'm looking for it to happen from. So what I'm looking for is wicks, bearish engulfing candles for my entry to short it back down to this low here at least, which is at 170.420. Then if things go well there, hopefully a push back down to 168.5, which is that low there as well. At the moment, this candle still has about 2 hours left before it does close. It's leaving a bit of a wick to the upside, but nothing tremendous. And of course, the candle's still open, so we could very much feel that wick and still push on. So it's important to wait for candles to close to get the full information. Otherwise, we could fluctuate and this candle could close bearish or it could close bullish by the time it closes. But yeah, for now, seeing some type of rejection. Let's see if we can keep that up. But this is where I'm looking for my entries to take it back down and continue those lower highs. So very bearish on CHF JPY basket also testing an area where we could turn around from as well. As we can see, if I move this out of the way, I know we've broken through the trend line, but we are coming back to retest this high here, which of course will return support. So as long as price can hold on to that, I do think the JPY basket can see a bit of a bounce. And if the JPY basket sees a bit of a bounce, then you're going to see CHF JPY do something similar as well. At least the push to that level, and if things go really well, push to that level there as well, which of course is going to be something like that for CHF JPY, and then of course something like that as well. So that's really where my focus is for the yen pairs. I think it's just going to be a CHF JPY and dollar yen from now. And dollar yen I'm actually pretty bullish on as well. So I'm looking to see if I can find some buys there. But in terms of the sells, CHF JPY is the only one that looks good. Euro yen has been very bullish. It's just about wicked through that high there. So, I mean, it still could sell off. It could still respect the high and sell off, but it's not looking as good as CHF JPY. So, yeah, I will stay away from that. No problem, Atch. I probably will. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm just going to call you Atch. But yeah, if I tried to pronounce your name, it wouldn't sound good. So, but yeah, no problem. Happy to help. Let me have a quick look at the DAX. Is that one still looking bullish? Wow, would you look at that? The DAX has not messed around the past since November. Past few months has been absolutely flying. Really big move here. Really clean break and retest. I'd say that's probably one of the cleanest break and retests I've seen in a while. Really nice break and retest there, and it's absolutely flown to the upside. So literally looking for that pattern to repeat again on the retest of this high here as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see something similar because the trend is still very much up. Momentum is still very much up as well. So naturally just looking for more of the same. And it's left behind a solid level resistance, which again, clean break, hasn't come back to retest. You can see what happened over here. Clean break of the level, no prior retest until eventually we did get the retest. Lovely bullish engulfing candle there as well in the 4-hour chart, and the market has flown since then. So looking for that pattern to repeat itself. And then, yeah, looking for more continuation, but this market is looking very, very bullish, very, very bullish. How is Bitcoin doing? Okay, so Bitcoin did see that move to the upside. We were talking about this yesterday. I said Bitcoin's probably likely to come back into resistance here. And we got there, but we're struggling to break through or do anything really from that. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about Bitcoin is that we did create new all-time highs on Monday, I believe it was. But we are looking really corrective. Okay, Avi. Okay, cool. No problem. Happy to help. But yeah, Avi is a much easier name to pronounce. So that does me a favor. But yeah, Bitcoin just created new highs. As I said when we did that Monday, let's look at how Bitcoin takes up the highs, because if Bitcoin takes up the highs and just pinches it and then starts to become a bit corrective, not a good sign. This whole price action could form a massive range now, which could be a good thing if we do have a really strong breakout, something like this that shows, okay, momentum is back for Bitcoin. Doesn't have to be as big as that, but just a strong breakout, something like what we had when we broke out of that 73K level. Really nice breakout there with that candle, and that set us on our way. Right now, price is respecting the highs. Bitcoin could form something like this, which is just ugly price action, which is nothing to be scared of, generally speaking, because consolidation just means buys and sells are in equilibrium, and it might just be the market is just having a bit of a breather before going its next bullish leg. Equally, it could be the market breaking down as well. But even if Bitcoin does break to the downside, I just view it as a pullback. We have a solid level of resistance here, which could easily be market could pull back towards, use that as support, and could absolutely fly from as well. So it might be a situation where we kind of want price to pull back to find entries to take it back up again. But equally, the market inside that range just becomes a big mess. So the more we stay in this level, the less attractive it gets. The more so I just view this as consolidation, and I would say stay away from this area unless you're going to try and short the tops and buy the lows. Then yeah, you might find some nice trades on either side. But in terms of intraday setups to try and ride some structure, ride a trend, I would stay away really with Bitcoin until we show some evidence of breaking above or breaking below. But yeah, still bullish. Just it looks like we're slowing down there, which isn't great. But yeah, guys, that has brought us to the end of the stream. If you guys have found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all the good stuff. Keeps you in the loop and it helps the channel a lot as well. I do appreciate everyone who has done that so far. Like I said, it does really help out. I will be live again tomorrow. I'm live again every weekday, Monday to Friday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, say hi, chat with us. We do not bite. So yeah, make sure you do pop in, say hi. But guys, thank you so much for spending the morning with me, or afternoon or evening, depending where you are in the world. Do really appreciate it. Check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below or at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. Join the discussions, chat with other traders, chat with myself as well. I do post setups there that I'm looking at. So if you are interested to see what I'm looking at, check that out. It does have some charts, which I do post there as well. And of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders as well if you are interested in it. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.